Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. We begin talking politics, where the immediate past national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has dismissed claims that Northern Nigeria will not support President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027. Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje stated this in Abuja while receiving a delegation of Northern Nigeria youth leaders drawn from various states who paid him a courtesy visit and formally decorated him as patron of their forum. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, reports.
The immediate past national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, says Nigeria is fortunate to be led by a president he described as a seasoned and pragmatic politician capable of taking tough but necessary decisions in the national interest. Ganduje insists there is no better candidate for southern Nigeria to lead the country beyond 2027 than President Bola Tinubu.
And from the southern part of Nigeria, there was no better person than Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We made our prediction, we made our confession, we made our commitment, and finally it became true. So Asiwaju has spent for only less than 4 years now. And we have seen the measures, the reforms that he undertook, the reforms that he introduced in order to improve the socio-economic development of this country.
Earlier, national leader of the movement, Murtala Muhammad Gamji, described Dr. Ganduje as a role model, crediting him for empowering young leaders during his tenure as governor of Kano State. Gamji said the forum has resolved to fully support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election, pledging to mobilize youth across the 19 northern states and raise funds towards the president's nomination ahead of 2027 elections.
So we are here to tell you our aim and objective. As our father, whatever you focus, that is where we follow. With unanimous resolution, we have all agreed that this time around, inshallah, we are going to purchase from to Mr. President, we the Northern Youth. There are nobody is better or is more powerful in this administration. Nobody have given support before even the campaign till date like you, our father.
The visit climaxed with the formal decoration of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje as Grand Patron of the Northern Nigerian Youth Leaders Forum. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has recognized the Nanadi Usman-led National Working Committee of the Labour Party following a federal High Court order in Abuja. INEC updated its record to list Usman as Caretaker Committee Chairperson after Justice Peter Lifu upheld a Supreme Court decision that ended Julius Aburu's tenure as national chairman. The Aburi-led faction had rejected the ruling and vowed to appeal, deepening internal tensions within the opposition party ahead of the 2027 elections. Away from politics, the National Association of Resident Doctors has given the federal government a 4-week ultimatum to fully implement outstanding agreement on salaries, allowances and welfare. The decision followed the association's National Executive Council meeting held in Jos, Plateau State, where members acknowledged progress on some areas but raised concerns over unpaid professional allowances and delayed promotions. The association warned that failure to act could worsen industrial relations across public hospitals nationwide. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has denied reports that undergraduates are barred from sitting the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME). Speaking in Port Harcourt, JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede said the claims were false and being spread by fraudsters impersonating board officials. He stressed that admitted students are legally allowed to seek a change of course or institution, and warned parents against encouraging examination malpractice. The Commissioner of Police, Benue State Police Command, Imenayi Ifeanyi, has reassured traditional rulers and displaced residents of its readiness to continue security operations in affected communities to ensure resident safety return to their ancestral home. Our correspondent Felicity Ndere reports.
The Commissioner of Police, Benue State Command, CP Imenayi Ifeanyi, is in Naka, the headquarters of Gwe West Local Government Area, for an on-the-spot assessment of the newly approved area command. The visit comes as a result of heightened security efforts to address the farmer header crisis that has displaced thousands of residents from their homes.
The Union of Police directive was very, very straightforward. Restore peace in Benue State.
During his visit, CP Imenayi met with the Tate Tyoshin and his council, assuring them that the command is fully prepared to carry out comprehensive clearance operations across all council wards to restore peace and security in all communities.
As far as police is concerned, the days of bandit impunity in Benue State, especially Gwe West, are over. They can never be allowed to establish any bandit camp in the Gwe West forest again. The Inspector General of Police have deployed enough tactical teams, including visiting mopos.
Responding to the CP's assurance, the Tate Tyoshin, His Royal Highness Daniel Nabonte, requested the establishment of police outposts in communities after the operations to boost the confidence of returnees as they resettle in their ancestral homes.
I crave your police indulgence to consider my border communities with Doma as an area of particular concern, so that your men will not only be on ground here.
The IDPs commended the command's ongoing efforts to flush out invaders and restore peace to their communities.
We are here since from 2019 till today. Even during last year, as we are saying, we go to our various places, but we do some certain farm inputs. They have grazed it all.
We were running helter-skelter, but now there is improvement in Gwe West. So we thank God.
The CP and his team also reassured the displaced persons that all the camps will be closed by December as security operations intensify. In Naka, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
In the meantime, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has deployed a full-time technical expert to Benue State to respond to the worsening humanitarian crisis as the number of internally displaced persons continue to rise. UNICEF's Chief of Field Service, Judith Leveni, gave the assurance during a high-level visit to Makurdi International Market IDP camp. Come to you in our subsequent bulletin. Let's now head to River State, where the government has denied allegations that it has blocked a pro-Tinubu group from using the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt. Officials said the facility is undergoing major reconstruction and remains unsafe to large gatherings due to underground piping and structural hazards. The government insisted that the decision was based solely on safety concerns and not political consideration. And now talking security matters, troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Haɗin-kai have neutralized the top Islamic West African province commander and foiled criminal operations. The troops further revealed that working with the civilian Joint Task Force, they neutralized 3 terrorists during an ambush between Ngazgalana and Lamurshi communities in Borno State. The statement says the troops tactically laid an ambush along the identified route and engaged the terrorists with effective manpower, resulting in the neutralization of 3 insurgents, while others fled with gunshot injuries. 2 AK-47 rifles were recovered from the scene. The Court of Appeal in Ilorin, Kwara State has upheld the death sentence imposed on 5 men convicted of the 2018 Offa Bank robbery. The appellate court unanimously dismissed the convict's appeal, affirming that the prosecution proved charges of armed robbery, illegal possession of firearms, and culpable homicide beyond a reasonable doubt. Although the convicts retained the right to approach the Supreme Court, officials say the chance of overturning the verdict remains slim. The Ondo State Police Command disbanded a transnational human trafficking syndicate, arresting 6 suspects and rescuing 14 victims in 2 separate operations across the state. Police say a Togolese national reported that he was lured into Nigeria with the promise of employment in Canada, only to be detained against his will after paying 800,000 CFA francs, while another investigation uncovered a group of Chadian migrants illegally recruited, transported through Cameroon and housed in Akure under the guise of online marketing jobs. Authorities say investigations are ongoing to apprehend fleeing suspects, while the rescued victim will be handed over to their respective embassies for reparation and further diplomatic action. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. News Cycle continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello, glad to have you with us. Let's take a look at the weather forecast for Sunday. The atmosphere is expected to be stable as no fresh dust was raised from the source region. As a result, the north and the north central will see a sunny and hazy atmosphere throughout the day, although slight dust haze is expected in parts of Taraba, Plateau, the FCT, Kaduna, and Niger states. If you're in this region and you have respiratory conditions, please take extra care and necessary precaution. To other parts of the country, a partly cloudy morning is expected. Later during the day, there are chances of thunderstorms in parts of Lagos, Oyo, Ogun, Delta, Edo, Bayelsa Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states. That's the forecast. Stay with us for the temperature forecast. I am Theodora Itum. Thank you for watching.
In business news, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyodele, has urged Nigerians to file their annual tax returns. He stressed that both employers and individuals must comply under the law. He made this known during a webinar organized for HR managers, payroll officers, CFOs, and tax managers in collaboration with the Joint Revenue Board. Oyodele said many Nigerians remain non-compliant in filing self-assessment returns. He added that individuals taxpayers must also file their self-assessment, noting that compliance in this area remains very low. Still talking business, the Senate has fixed March 17 for the final passage of the 58.47 trillion naira 2026 federal budget. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Solomon Adeola, said the timeline includes public hearings, committee-led budget defense, and consultations with economic managers. President Bola Tinubu presented the budget to the National Assembly in December, describing it as a framework for economic consolidation and shared prosperity. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has given domestic airlines 7 days to include special needs assistance option on their ticket reservation platforms. The directive aims to improve access and protection for passengers with disabilities and persons with reduced mobility. NCAA warned that airlines failing to comply with the regulation will face sanctions. And now to news making rounds. On the foreign scene, the United Nations has warned that climate-driven floods in Mozambique has displaced hundreds of people and overwhelmed temporary shelters. UNHRC says overcrowding, lack of basic services and continued rainfall have left women, children, the elderly and persons with disabilities at heightened risk. Humanitarian agencies are appealing for urgent international funding as flood risk remain high and further displacement is expected. The military junta in Guinea-Bissau is no longer seeking to arrest a senior opposition politician who has been on the run, an opposition official said. But another prominent opposition leader, whom the military released from prison only on Friday, has now been placed under house arrest. The junta imprisoned several senior politicians after overthrowing President Umaru Sissoco Embalo and seizing power on November 26, just days after the presidential election and before the official results were released. The military suspended the electoral process and Embalo fled the country. Away from Africa to South America, where Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, has announced a proposal for a sweeping amnesty covering political violence from 1999 to the present, weeks after the removal of former President Nicolas Maduro. Speaking at the Supreme Court in Caracas, Rodriguez also unveiled plans to shut down the notorious El Helicidio prison and convert it into a public facility for police, families and surrounding communities. The reforms, including new laws opening Venezuela's oil sector to private investment, have drawn strong support from United States President Donald Trump. In the meantime, the United States has stepped up pressure on Iran, with President Donald Trump confirming the deployment of a major U.S. naval force to the Middle East, even though Tehran is seeking a deal to avert military confrontation. Speaking at the White House, President Trump warned that diplomacy remains an option, but only under clear conditions. And now the report. President Trump says Iran is eager to negotiate with Washington, but insists the United States will not hesitate to apply maximum pressure to protect its interests. The deployment, which Trump described as a massive naval presence, comes amid heightened concerns over Iran's nuclear program, ballistic missile development, and internal unrest. The U.S. president says the show of force is meant to reinforce America's position, stressing that dialogue will only proceed from a position of strength.
We have a large armada, flotilla, call it whatever you want, heading toward Iran right now, even larger than what we had in Venezuela. It's still in front of Venezuela. We're now sending actually a larger number of ships to Iran, and hopefully we'll make a deal. If we do make a deal, that's good. If we don't make a deal, we'll see what happens.
President Trump also made reference to Venezuela, saying the country's leadership is stabilizing, noting that the United States is encouraging the international community to access Venezuela's oil resources for the benefit of its people.
The Venezuelan situation, the leadership is doing a very good job. We're very happy, and we're getting along very, very well. And we're inviting countries of the world very shortly. They're going to be starting to take the oil. We're going to be heading that with the country.
Trump further revealed that Iran had been given a deadline to comply with the United States demands, though he declined to disclose details. He cited reports of Tehran halting execution of protesters as a possible sign of compliance. However, the U.S. president avoided committing to any military course of action if talks fail, saying all options remain on the table. As tensions remain high, Washington maintains that diplomacy is still possible, but backed by overwhelming military strength. Mukhtar Qasim reporting. Still on the international scene, South Africa and Israel top diplomats after Pretoria declared Israel's chargé d'affaires Ariel Seidman persona non grata for violating diplomatic norms and ordered him to leave within 72 hours. Israel swiftly retaliated by expelling South Africa's envoy to Palestine, Sean Edward Benevert, as tensions between the two countries continue to escalate following South Africa's genocide against Israel at the International Court of Justice. South African authorities accuse Seidman of attacking President Cyril Ramaphosa on official social media platforms and facilitating authorized visit by Israeli officials, actions both sides say justify the unprecedented diplomatic fallout. And now talking sports. Real Madrid will face Benfica in the Champions League playoff rounds following Friday's draw, setting up a quick rematch after the Portuguese side defeated them in the league phase. The loss pushed Real Madrid out of the top 8 and into the playoffs, while Paris Saint-Germain will face domestic rivals Monaco after finishing 11th in the standings. The two-legged ties will be played in February, with winners advancing to the last 16 in March ahead of the final in Budapest on May 30. Nigeria's senior men handball team have crashed out of qualification for the 2027 IHF World Championship after a 25-20 defeat to Angola in Kigali, Rwanda. And despite leading at halftime, the Golden Arrows struggled in the second half after Farouk Yusuf was sent off, allowing Angola to dominate and secure Africa's 5th World Cup ticket. The loss ended Nigeria's campaign at the Africa Men's Handball Nations Cup, despite strong performances from Hakeem Salami and Aziz Suleiman. And now talking tennis, Novak Djokovic has defeated reigning champion Jannik Sinner in a gripping 5-set semi-final to reach the Australian Open final in Melbourne. The 38-year-old Serbian star fought back from behind to win 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4. And will now face top seed Carlos Alcaraz in the final. A victory would earn Djokovic a record-breaking 25th Grand Slam title, cementing his status as one of tennis' greatest players. That's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms, now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.